With Critical Role prices stabilizing, I have a huge market update for you today. We are going to be talking about every single standard legal booster box and the most expensive card that you can open at base rarity in those boxes. Then we're going to be talking about the best sealed product that you can buy right now, which booster box is giving you the best bang for your buck. I'll be giving you my 3 buy low cards right now, cards that you want to buy now because there's never going to be a better time to buy them in the future while they're standard legal. I'll also be going over the most expensive rares and recent Chrome Rare sales and purchases and what values those have been at. Okay, I did a video like this about 6 months ago. Not to brag or anything, but most of my takes in that video aged very, very well. I'll be showing a little bit of that here in the future. But let's kick it off today with sealed prices. Also, before I go into this, none of this should be taken as investment advice. I don't consider Universus an investment. It's a card game hobby. It's an expenditure. When I give like my buy low cards, I'm saying like, I think you should be buying these not to like sit on them and then sell in the future, but just, you know, if you haven't bought them already, now would probably be a good time. Past performance is not an indicator of future results, you know, yada, 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 all that official stuff. Okay, let's start off with sets that released in 2023. 2023 was the last year of the MHA only era of Universus. For about 3 or 4 years, Universus only released MHA product, and these sets are going to rotate in 2026. We know that Godzilla will be the first booster set in 2026. We don't know when it's coming out yet. If we assume it comes out in like mid-February, then that gives cards in these categories about 10 months of standard legality left. So if you're a new player just getting into the game, be aware that if you buy these booster boxes, you don't have a long time to be playing with these cards. First off, we have League of Villains, and the price for these on the secondary market is $25. There's a reason for that. A lot of these characters and cards have kind of been power crept out of the game at standard competitive levels. There's not a lot of chase ultra rares in this. The best ultra rare that you can open at the moment is Vial Seizing for $11. Then you have like Dual Needle Lunge for like $5. But there's not a lot of chase cards here. This is the only standard legal booster set, I believe at least, that does not have any Chrome Rares inside. So there's no chance at opening like a $100 card. I think the most expensive card you can open is an XR version of Vial Seizing, which still only sells for like $30. If you're like a new player and you're looking to buy some cards, your local game store is trying to sell these for like $100, do not buy it. You can get these for $20, $25 on the secondary market. Let's get into the next one. Undaunted Raid. This, to me, is my personal favorite booster set of the MHA only era. I thought this had a lot of things going for it. The Overhaul arc is a very, very popular arc of MHA. It came out with these Overhaul versus Mirio clash decks that were a great entry point for beginners to get into the game. We had a lot of powerful secret rares and ultra rares to go after. Today, you can find these for about $60, so it's fallen a little bit from $100, but not by much. The best card that you can get here is Overhaul himself on the art, Tetra Terror Onslaught, secret rare, 4/4, lose 3 health. If it deals damage, add a card with a printed difficulty of 4 or less from discard pile to your hand. It also has Echo. I think, although I could be wrong, maybe it was League of Villains, but this was one of the first sets where Echo came into the game. It was either Undaunted Raid or League of Villains. I can't remember which. It might have been League of Villains, but it wasn't that good. And then Undaunted Raid, they finally gave us some good Echoes. So Tetra Terror Onslaught, about $22 at base rarity, a little over a third of the price of the booster box. There's also a lot of other secret rares and ultra rares that are quite expensive from Undaunted Raid. You can get like a Phantom Threat, which the market for it has been kind of odd lately. Sometimes it sells for over $50. Sometimes it's selling for under $20. It's been a little erratic. We are a smaller card game, so prices are difficult to pin down because there's not a ton of transactions that are occurring on TCG Player, and TCG Player is what I'm using for my prices in this video. But there's also like Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken at the ultra rare level. So even though the most expensive card is only around a third of the booster box, there's lots of other cards that you can get in the $10 to $20 range. Okay, our last one for 2023 was Jetburn, and today these are going for about $78. I know for a lot of people, Jetburn is their favorite MHA only Universus product. And the most expensive card that you can get here is Falling Skies for $36. This is a 3 high 5. It gets +1/+1 for every high in your card pool. There's a lot of very powerful high attacks on these symbols. Fast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, Battle Aura Release, Ice Sword Execution. It pairs really well with a lot of other very powerful competitive cards. And this can be your finisher. It can also just be a poke that you can give a throw and guarantee yourself some momentum. It's a 1 low block. It's doing everything at above rate levels. And there's a lot of other things that you can get from this set as well. We have like Deception Dagger. Trying to think of some other things off the top of my head, but Deception Dagger is what's coming to my mind. Incredible Display, an ultra rare foundation is above $20 in Jetburn. But then we come to 2024, and now we start to add other IPs to the game. We kind of leave My Hero Academia behind for the most part, although we'll see Girl Power here in just a little bit. These cards are going to rotate out in 2027, so you can feel safe buying them for right now. You're going to have at least almost a couple years to play with these. Okay, we get Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament, and these prices right now for a sealed box are above retail price. They're $120. The reason for that is twofold. Number one, Yu Yu Hakusho gave us pretty big power creep in the game. I would say the difference between Jetburn and Yu Yu Hakusho is the biggest power creep that we've had since I've been a player. Yu Yu Hakusho just gave us a ton of staple attacks, staple defense. We get like, let's see, Genkai's Guidance, Referee Jury, Walk the Dog. We're getting Battle Aura Release, just to name a few. And what happened is, even though the art on these is just straight from the anime, it's not like original art, at least to my knowledge. Maybe some things are original art, like the Chrome Rares. But most everything is just scenes from the anime. The anime is quite dated. I know it has a hardcore following, but it's not really the hype thing in 2025, right? This did not see, it saw a pretty limited print run by UVS Games, at least to my knowledge of it. And I don't have perfect knowledge of the behind the scenes happenings at UVS Games, but it saw a pretty limited print run. It was not sold at like big box retail. It was just a local game store only basically release. And because of that, because of the low print run and that it wasn't sold all over, and the power creep that it gave to the game, it's been bought up almost everywhere. So if you can get one of these boxes like $100 or less, it's almost a snap buy. You pretty much can't go wrong when you open. Like, I feel very comfortable spending my money on one of these to open it, just to have fun opening packs, because I feel fairly confident I'm not going to lose money opening these. Okay, the most expensive card you can get from Yu Yu Hakusho is Walk the Dog. 8 diff that becomes a 4 diff, 606, powerful 3, stun 1. It's drawing you cards. It's doing a lot. It's great in the early game to draw cards. It's great as your finisher to slam things onto a fast move that has powerful 3. It's a low attack zone. People typically don't have as many low blocks as other zones. It's on very, very powerful symbols in the game, Chaos and Order right now. So if you want a playset of Walk the Dog, you have to shell out $200. That's a very, very expensive price to shell out for a playset of a card. But if you're going to play these symbols, almost all of them kind of need you to have Walk the Dog. Also, Weapon and Ranged are very, very good keyword traits to have right now. Okay, Girl Power. About $76 today on the secondary market. This was the last booster set for MHA. We don't know if Universus will revisit MHA. I really hope that they do, because this latest arc has been awesome in the anime. And they did have a Dark Hero Challenger that came out later, but that was just a one deck, not really a full booster release. Girl Power was our last booster release. And the best card you can get from here, there's a couple cards that are right around each other, but I went with Big Fist Bash. It used to always be Black Abyss. Black Abyss used to be like a $40 card. It's fallen to about $20, and I kind of suspect it'll keep on falling. It's kind of not really cracking attack lineups right now in competitive play. Face-up momentum abilities aren't as prevalent in the meta at the moment as they used to be. So Black Abyss has been falling, and it might continue falling. Now the chase cards are Luna Tejeras, the Mirko SR, and Big Fist Bash. I went with Big Fist Bash here, even though depending on, you could quibble with me and say it should have been Luna to Harris on here. But Big Fist Bash has been seeing a lot of play for like All Rodan or Nick Reagan. You can discard 2 cards and add a mid attack back to your hand. If you have 3 or more, this is only a 3 diff and it's a 3 mid 5. It also has Breaker 3. It's just doing a lot here. And then we get to Attack on Titan, which ushered in a new era for Universus. It gave us abilities like Blitz, attuned symbols, Ruin, transforming characters, 4-check attacks. A lot changed with Attack on Titan, and not all players were a fan of that. And you see that in the price of the booster boxes on the secondary market. $55. If you exclude League of Villains, this is the cheapest booster box to buy that's standard legal. And that's not because there's not good cards in here. If you opened a Determined Advance, you basically pay for your Attack on Titan box. It's $48 alone. I've seen these selling as high as $60. 6 mid 6, the stats can't be messed with. So as long as like characters like Rodan are solid in the meta, then this is also going to be solid. EX3 snaps yourself a momentum that you can use later on. It's a great string starter. Characters like Godzilla love it because they can use that momentum to pass their checks. Annie coming out in Attack on Titan Apocalypse is probably going to love it as well to use that momentum. So it's not that there's not good cards. We also have like Midst of Despair, which goes for around $50, similar to Determined Advance. We also have like Walmaria's Might, which is over $20. The problem is, beyond lots of changes that got brought into the game that were controversial to say the least, it's that it's a 300 plus card set. And there were like 13 secret rares. There were tons of different ultra rares. So while a single Determined Advance pays for your box, the odds of you opening a Determined Advance are very, very low. Also, the commons and uncommons in this set are borderline unplayable at competitive levels. At least the vast majority of them are meant purely for sealed play. And the manga art was a little rough. I really like the manga art, but it's not been popular, I would say, among the player base. So all of those factors coming in kind of hold this booster box pretty low in price, while the best card in it is actually going really well on the secondary market. You know, you have to shell out $200 to get a playset of Determined Advance. So this kind of bucks the trend that you can see in past booster boxes, where the best card was about 1/3 to 1/2 the value of a booster box. $23 when $76 was a booster box, $52 when $120 is the booster box, $36 when $78. You know, this bucks the trend pretty heavily, but it makes sense when you consider the rarity distribution of Attack on Titan. Okay, that brings us to Attack on Titan Origins of Power. Now, this set has been better received than Attack on Titan 1, but I think a lot of players still had kind of sour tastes in their mouths from Attack on Titan 1 that carried over to Origins of Power. So even though Origins of Power is a very, very well-designed set, in my opinion, one of my favorite sets since Undaunted Raid to buy, it's still pretty low in its secondary market value. So $65 for a box. And the most expensive card is Attack Titan's Haymaker, 4 mid 5 stun 2. It has shift. It builds down into a foundation. Can't be blocked by cards with printed difficulty 2 or less. It's also a 2 high block. This is basically a reprint of a formerly banned card called Back Alley Haymaker from MHA Set 2. Although this one's doing things a little bit differently here. It's about $60. Basically pays for your box if you open it, and the rarity distribution isn't nearly as bad in Origins of Power. And we have a lot of, in my opinion, kind of underpriced cards in Origins of Power. Origins gave us, here, let me look up some. We also have Beast Titan Attacks, which sells for about $30. I've got it pulled up here on my secondary screen. We have like Defeating the Colossus Titan, which sells for under $30. I kind of think that secret rare is probably going to go up in price. Survey Corps Teamwork is doing pretty well. We have like Mikasa's Knee Strike, which I think is only like $4 or $5, which surprises me. I think it should be at least like $10. But my point is that there's quite a few good things to be opening here in Origins of Power. I'm kind of shocked that booster boxes are selling for sub $70. And now we get to 2025. These cards are going to be legal for over 2 years. It's not going to be until 2028 until they rotate. And the first set of 2025 has been Critical Role, Heroes of Exandria, and these booster boxes have held their value pretty well. So today it's about $90 to get one. You can feel pretty comfortable spending $100 or so at your LGS. And yes, you're paying the local game store tax. It's always going to be a little more than the cheapest price you can find online, but you can feel good supporting your local game store while doing it. And the most expensive card in Critical Role has been Sweeping Daggers. This is one that I have been calling since the beginning. I actually got to reveal Sweeping Daggers in my Void Reveals video a couple months ago. And I said at the time it got revealed, this card is going to see a ban someday. It's just nuts. Sometimes this is copying crazy cards like Unexpected Outcomes of Forecheck, or you're copying like a true 100% Unleashed, or you're just copying like some card that draws you something like Battle Aura Release and gets stats. It's above base rate stats. I said right at the very beginning this was going to be a $50 ultra rare. It's surpassed my expectations. Right now it's selling for like $55 to $60, and it might just continue going up in the future. There's also a lot of other quite good cards, at least for secondary market, that you can get in Critical Role. We have like Violent Animus Shot, secret rare, that's been selling for above $35. Earthbreaker's been selling for over $20. So the set's done quite well. One of my favorite sealed booster boxes to open. I'm actually going to be uploading a video here in a little bit of me opening a booster box. I did it I filmed it a month ago. I've just been dragging my feet on actually uploading it here to YouTube. Okay, so what is the best sealed product for your money? Just went over every single booster box, and in my opinion, the best bang for your buck to get on the secondary market is Origins of Power. I think that the price for these boxes were dragged down because of AOT 1 and kind of bad expectations around Attack on Titan that occurred because of Attack on Titan 1. But Origins of Power, in my opinion, was a very well designed set. And I think a lot of the ultra rares in the set are going to be going up in price as we move along. So Origins of Power, if you can get it for under $65, I think it's a snap buy. Okay, let's talk about when I did this video 6 months ago. What were the 3 buy low candidates that I gave? I said repeated 100% smash, and I apologize, you guys can't really see all the cards here on my screen. I made them a little too big. Repeated 100% smash, female Titan attacks, and high velocity slice. Repeated 100% was based off if punches became a big thing in the meta again, like they used to be during the MHA only time of Universus, then repeated is a cracked, broken card. They didn't really. Now everything is being given ranged or weapon. And so keywords that used to be great in the MHA era, like charge and punch, for example, these keywords are kind of losing steam with attack packages. And so until that happens, repeated 100% smash is not going to go up in price, although it hasn't lost money in its price. Female Titan attacks at the time, I said, hey, forecheck attacks are only going to get better with the more Attack on Titan that comes out. Now we have Apocalypse right around the corner. This is the only one that draws you a card. Readying a backup is quite good in characters. Like Annie, for example, coming out in Apocalypse can use backups to pass checks. So this is basically like readying a foundation. You can reuse those backups abilities if they have commit abilities. It's also just a nice 1 high block. You can go find yourself a punch or kick, which knockdown blow is only getting better and better as more Attack on Titan comes out. Yeah, female Titan attacks I just thought was a no-brainer at the time to buy. High velocity slice, I didn't understand why nobody was buying it because these were the prices 6 months ago. High velocity slice was like a $2 ultra rare. And I was like, why is an attack opener that snaps momentum and has a deadlock ability that sometimes just auto wins you games? 4 high 5. It also has stun. It's also a breaker block. There's just so much going on in this card. I didn't understand why it was only $2. And history kind of proved me right here. If we look at the prices for these 3 cards today, repeated has stayed the same. Female has quadrupled. High velocity slice has whatever 9 tupled is. I don't know what you would say. It's all the way up to $18. So female Titan went up 400%. High velocity slice went up 900%. Repeated is still the same value today, around $15. So those did pretty well. Can I hit on 3 more cards again today? Let's see. In my opinion, based on future expectations, I'm looking for What are things that the market is not considering today that are going to happen in the future? First off, I have Colossus SWAT. Today it's around $8. That's already up from where it was a couple months ago. A couple months ago, it was like down at the $4 to $5 range. I think that this should easily be a bare minimum $14 card. We have two very powerful characters coming out in Apocalypse that have been revealed over the last couple weeks. Mikasa wants to destroy foundations to draw cards, and Peak, or I don't know how you say your name, Peak, I think is probably the best character in Apocalypse, is very, very foundation hungry, constantly sacrificing foundations to do her abilities. So two powerful foundation hungry characters coming out. Colossus SWAT gives you two foundations that you can blow up during your turn for value. Pretty solid stats, 5/5 with a powerful 4. So I think that one will go up based off of new characters. Then based off of backups just becoming better, and characters like Annie coming out who can commit backups to pass checks, characters like the new Zeke who want to be using a ton of different backups and then kind of get to ignore progressive, I think are both going to really like Harness Undeath. Sacrifice a backup against Echo. Lose 2 health after this deals damage to a character. Your rival loses X health. X equals the number of backups in all discard piles. So if you yourself are running like 10 to 15 backups, then this could be like a burn for 5, burn for 6 if it hits them at all, even if they half block, and then you can echo it and do it again. You can just really zone check them. Like, do you have 2 low blocks? And it gets even better if your rival's playing backups. So as backups become better and better, and they don't seem to be going away, then Harness Undeath is only going to get better. So today it's a $13 secret rare. I think we could be looking at this 6 months from now, and it could be a $25 ultra rare. It's going to be illegal until 2028. By the time 2027 comes around, we're going to have had like 10 plus booster boxes with backups as a card type, at least in my current expectation. So Harness Undeath can only get better. Then we have Lightning Blast. Nothing's going to change to make this better in the future. I'm just really confused why it's $4. I get that it's a 2-check. The 2-check is entirely the reason that the price is being held down right now, but it's too good. It's just too dang good. Blitz, this gets 1 damage for each face-up rival foundation as early as turn 2. This is just a 4 low 10. A lot of times the stats on this are quadruple the difficulty. I think a card is really good when the stats are triple the difficulty. These ones go up to like quadruple the difficulty or quintuple. This is just an insane rate of stats compared to the difficulty. You can play this early. You can play this as a finisher. If you're a character and you're not giving a lot of damage on your attacks, then Lightning Blast can pair really, really well with another finisher coming that could be like a powerful 3, powerful 4, powerful 5 type move. And now you have 2 cards, 2 attacks that your rival has to be worried about, and not just the one momentum dump. So I think that this ultra rare will eventually be around $10. I understand that this one is the one I feel the least confident in out of these 3 because it is a 2-check, and 0 diffs have gotten a lot worse. They've altogether just not been printed in Critical Role Heroes of Exandria. So, sorry, not 2-checks, 0 difficulty foundations. So now that the lowest difficulty foundation a lot of decks run is a 1, that makes 2-checks worse off to be playing. So I understand that the 2-check holds it back, but I think the stats are just too good, and eventually this will be a $10 card. So these are my 3 buy now cards. Okay, let's talk about the rares in the game that are the most expensive. We currently have 2 rares that are far more expensive than the rest. Those are Bowtown's Coaching and Feral Shriek. Back to the 0 difficulty talk. There's just not a lot of them right now. Almost all of them have rotated out. Design is clearly showing us that they're not planning on making them in the future that are very strong. Bowtown's Coaching is very solid. Flip, both of us discard 1 and draw 1. Sometimes you can mess up your rival's hand. You can dig for attacks on offense. Maybe on defense you have no cards in hand, and now this just says flip, draw 1. Very, very good for a 0 difficulty foundation. This is like $25 right now. It was $22 like 6 months ago. Now it's $25, so it's only gone up in price. And then Feral Shriek from Attack on Titan 1. Again, Attack on Titan had a lot of cards at the rare, ultra rare level. It's a set that hasn't been opened a lot. The prices have fallen. People aren't like clamoring to open more. And so Feral Shriek right now is like $18, I think, or maybe it's $15. Let me actually get you an exact number. I have TCG pulled up on my other screen. Oh, it's about $10. Okay, so Feral Shriek about $10, Botan's Coaching about $25. By far our most expensive rares in the game. Okay, last thing for our market update today. Let's talk about the Chrome rares from Critical Role Heroes of Exandria. How are they selling and what are the prices of a Chrome? A lot of people open a Chrome, they do the money dance, but then they're confused on, well, how much is this? Did I open a $500 card? Did I open a $100 card? You don't want to get ripped off when you go and try and sell it, and you don't want to get ripped off when you go and try and buy one of these things. So the latest sales on TCG, there have not been a lot of sales, but there's been about like 15 to 20, I would say, Critical Role Chrome sold over the last month on TCG Player. So there's only been one character that no sales on TCG, and that's Percy. But a Scanlan sold for $250. I'm going to go from low to high. A Caleb sold for $300. A Bo sold for $380. A Yasha sold for $400. Grog just recently, I think like just the other day, sold for $450. An Allura sold for $500, and a Jester sold for $550. Some context on this Jester one, it was number 2 Jester. So I think there's a extra premium when you get like a top 5 Chrome. All of these are numbered 1 through 100. Like number 71 isn't going to be worth as much as number 2, for example. So maybe Jesters are typically $300, but this seller was willing to spend $550 to get the number 2 overall Jester. And those are all of the Chrome trades. So about what I would expect for these characters that aren't going to see a lot of competitive play, underneath 400 makes sense. For characters like Grog and Allura that are going to see competitive play, $400 to $500 makes sense to me, and that is our Chrome market. Every single booster set, the Chromes have like different markets overall for them. Like the Heroes Clash Chromes, for example, from the very first time they did it, Heroes Clash was printed to such a crazy degree that the Chromes are like 3 times as rare as other Chromes from sets. So you can't really compare Chromes across sets, but typically Chromes, if you're willing to wait when you're buying, or if you want to sell quickly, around $200 to $300 tends to be the number. If you're a patient seller or you want to buy right now, about $400 to $500 tends to be right. And they also change depending on the competitive level of the character. But there it is for our Chrome market. And that is this market update. What do you think of my takes? Do you think I'm off on the 3 cards that are going to be going up in price in the future? Which booster sets do you think are underpriced? And am I correct in thinking that Origins of Power is the best set right now to buy? Let me know in the comments down below, and any other questions that you have concerning the market for Universus. We're a pretty small game, pretty small player base, so the markets can be all over the place, but I'm happy to answer any of your questions, at least according to my opinion and my knowledge of the game. All right, that's going to do it for me, and I'll see you next time.